In an era where everyone chooses to awaken their bloodline, I instead take the path of cultivating immortality. Others laugh at me, saying my brain must not be fully developed. They call me a hopeless fool, simply because the cultivation of immortality was wiped out in the great calamity of gods and demons 10,000 years ago. Since then, the path of cultivation has become nothing but a minor way to prolong one's life. Awakening your bloodline is seen as the only true road to the top. Yet, I remain unmoved by all their mockery, because soon the void will appear, from which terrifying demons with endless cracks will pour forth. They will slaughter countless awakened ones in an instant. Only cultivators of immortality can become the final hope of the world. At this moment, I'm gazing at a black jade slip in my hand. In my previous life, my family and I all perished in that disaster. Unbelievably, I was reincarnated in the cultivation world of another plane. And by chance, I obtained the samsara mind technique. Cultivating bitterly for 10,000 years, I achieved an undefeated legend. I became the myth of my era. But all that cultivation was simply so that, after ascending to immortality, I could travel back in time, returning to the day before the demon invasion, to save the ones I wanted to protect. Never expected that during the next ascension tribulation, I was ambushed by several demon cultivators who had been plotting for ages. I was cast into an abyss of no return. Never thought that upon opening my eyes again, I'd return to the moment of applying for a sect. Chin Mahen, if you insist on cultivating immortality, we won't be joining you in this trial. Go find someone else. Shen Yingshuang approached with disappointment on her face, followed by 2 men and 2 women. A month ago, the 6 of us agreed to team up for this trial. Last time, when these 5 saw I hadn't awakened my bloodline, they wanted to break up the team. After all, in their eyes, anyone without an awakened bloodline is just a burden. A loser, sure, I calmly replied, hearing my simple response. All 5 looked surprised. They thought I begged them not to abandon me. After all, it's hard for someone without an awakened bloodline to find awakened partners. Looks like Chin Mahan has completely given up after not awakening. Seeing this, a trace of regret flashed in Shen Ying's eyes.
Take care of yourself.
A skinny young man sneered, glancing at me. We're about to witness a joke. Must be a brain issue to write the word cultivation. No way anyone sane would do it. Seeing me abandoned by my teammates, the surrounding disciples burst into laughter. But I didn't care at all. Back home, my parents had prepared plenty of snacks for my return. When they found out I hadn't awakened my bloodline, my parents deliberately avoided the subject over dinner, until my father broke the silence. He called to me and handed me a white jade slip. Old Chen. At that moment, my father took a deep breath and smiled. There's our savings from over 20 years in this jade slip. Take it, your mother and I never awakened our bloodline either. But we've lived a peaceful life. Now you're an adult. So it's time you made your own decisions. This is all we can do to help you. He pressed the jade slip into my hand and went to help my mother clean up. I stood there for a while. This bond that spans 10,000 years. Past memories flooded my mind again. Memories and reality intertwined. The jade slip in my hand suddenly felt as heavy as a mountain. This life, I will never let history repeat itself. Because spiritual energy in this world is so thin. The only way to cultivate is to absorb spiritual energy from rare treasures. And buying those requires spirit stones. So I didn't bother being polite with my father. I took the spirit stones and went straight to the biggest elixir store in town. Right now, the spirit herb pavilion was packed with people, bustling with activity. Most were awakened ones buying spirit liquid. How can I help you? At that moment, a beautiful young woman in the store's uniform walked over
And asked,
Do you have spiritual herbs like ginseng, lingi, or snow lotus here? The young woman was surprised I wanted to buy herbs. She immediately looked astonished. Nowadays, almost everyone just buys prepared spirit liquid. Who still buys raw herbs? We do. Our store actually has special sections for herbs. You might find what you need there. With that, she led me into a fragrance-filled building. Unlike the main floor, this area was quiet and deserted. An elderly man with reading glasses sat behind a wooden desk, quietly reading an ancient text. Master Hua, this customer, wants to buy spirit herbs, the young woman said respectfully. I'm good, you can get back to work. Master Hua nodded, putting down his book. He looked up at me. I'm looking for herbs in spirit medicine. The older, the better, I said directly. Not many people buy herbs these days. Master Hua checked the jade slip. Here, see for yourself. I need to see the actual items. I picked a lingi, a snow lotus, and a 10,000-year-old ginseng essence. Master Hua looked a bit surprised. There aren't many young people who can even recognize these rare herbs. Not many at all. He got up and took 3 exquisite boxes from a spiritwood cabinet behind him. Only for viewing, not for sale. Upon feeling the aura from the 3 herbs, I asked how much they cost. 35,000 spirit stones each. All 3 for a total of 150,000 spirit stones. I frowned. That's too expensive. I only had a little over 50,000 spirit stones. I could only buy 1. Thinking for a moment, I asked Master Hua to bring out some cheaper herbs, carefully checked them over, and compared effects and prices. 35,000 is too much. This jade marrow fruit is only 10,000 spirit stones. The 10,000-year-old ginseng is as effective as 20 jade marrow fruits. Given the age and rarity of the ginseng, 25,000 spirit stones at most. I replied slowly. Master Hua's eyes lit up hearing this. You're knowledgeable for someone so young. But this is wild 10,000-year ginseng from the wasteland region. Regular use before age 18 can boost your odds of awakening bloodlines. That alone adds at least 10,000 to the price. Master Hua pointed to the side. That's a cultivated ginseng. If you want to cultivate it one, I can sell it for 10,000 spirit stones. I glanced at it and shook my head. There's no more aura. It's useless to me. Just then, a scar-faced, fierce-looking middle-aged cultivator entered the store. Master Hua, check out. As soon as he entered, he dropped a storage pouch on the counter, with trails of beast blood seeping out. Master Hua opened the pouch and dumped out the contents. It was a pile of bloody beast materials. Nice haul. Master Hua complimented. Yeah, ran into 2 4th-tier beasts. Lost a few brothers, though. The man grinned, showing yellow teeth. That's 200,000 spirit stones in total. Just give me the stones. I'll sword fly home. Remember to get some spirit liquid ready for me. I'll pick it up tomorrow. With that, he left without looking back. Your store buys materials too? I asked in surprise. Master Hua nodded while sorting the materials. Some spirit liquids require rare materials for refinement. That guy's an awakened one who does this for a living. Master Hua then smiled at me. Kid, want to make a deal? I was confused. What deal? I can tell you're short on spirit stones. You seem to know your herbs pretty well. Work at my store, and I'll pay you with these 3 spirit herbs. I hesitated for a moment, slowly shook his head. Next, the chatterbox tapped his fingers on the table. Then he said, let me take a step back. Many people often come to Beast Wasteland domain. Some of the spiritual herbs obtained are quite unusual. Even I find it hard to determine their value. At that time, I'll need your help to appraise them, okay? I nodded after hearing that. This condition seems favorable for me. But with my experience and insight, appraising spirit herbs for the chatterbox is actually a big win for him. Alright, see you next time. Hope you surprise me. The chatterbox handed over 3 spirit stones, and the 5th item, then turned around and continued organizing the materials. After getting the spiritual herbs, I rode my magical artifact to the Bright Moon Lake mystic realm. After returning from reincarnation, I found that the spiritual energy in Bright Moon Lake mystic realm was richer than elsewhere. Now I was about to go to Bright Moon Lake to make a breakthrough. The 3 spiritual herbs don't contain a lot of energy. Others would have difficulty breaking through the key training stage with them. But as someone who once stood at the pinnacle of humanity, I can definitely maximize the effectiveness of these 3 herbs. Breaking through key training is almost a certainty. Bright Moon Lake is peaceful. There are many elderly people meditating and cultivating by the lake. But their so-called cultivation, in my opinion, is really just relaxing their minds and bodies. It can't be considered true cultivation. I sat down next to a big spiritual willow. A few white-haired elders gathered around. A few days ago when I started cultivating, these elders noticed that being near me refreshes their spirits. So whenever they see me, they quickly move closer. Without saying much, I began circulating the reincarnation spell. The thin spiritual energy around me gathered over, The willow branches swayed, seeming even greener. The elders around felt completely relaxed, their faces glowing, feeling as if they'd regained their youth. Later that night, the moon and stars faded. People in the mystic realm gradually dispersed. After checking inside myself again, I felt I could attempt a breakthrough. So I drew a small spirit gathering array on the ground, took out the 3 spiritual herbs and placed them in the array. The array emitted a faint halo. The 3 spiritual herbs quickly withered, all their spiritual energy extracted and gathered. Streams of spiritual matter could be seen being absorbed by me. At this moment, my mind was focused, fully committed to breaking through. In the morning, a cool breeze swept past me. I suddenly opened my eyes, exhaled a long-held breath, feeling the long-lost surge of spiritual power. Finally broke through to the first level of key training. Now I can use some basic spells, and at least protect myself. In the past, I knew nothing about cultivation, stumbled for 100 years before finding the right path. This lifetime, I must perfect every realm and climb to the top again. I then got up and left. At that moment, some elderly people came for morning exercises. Who drew this diagram on the ground? Interesting, a lean old man with white hair and a childlike face frowned and checked it for a while, then suddenly sat in the center of the diagram, was startled in an instant. Ah, interesting. Check who drew this diagram for me. Returning home, I changed into a magic robe before heading to the sect. After some time, the Holy Academy will unite all sects to host the first Destiny Cup competition. The champion will receive enormous attention and resources. Only by passing the sect test and joining the sect can you qualify for the Destiny Cup. So for this sect test, I have to join in as well. At this moment, the 6 halls of Azure Cloud sect were bustling. My arrival brought a brief silence to the shop. Our sect's cultivation expert is here, someone mocked. But the expected agreement didn't happen. All the other disciples looked at me in surprise. I seemed different from before today, with an extraordinary, ethereal vibe. Just then, teaching elder Lin Zuyao stepped in. She walked in and tapped on the table, telling everyone to quiet down. Then, she began explaining the rules for this sect assessment. This time, the 28 sects of Yunzhou are holding a joint exam. The location is Trial Mystic Realm No 38. Hunt different levels of monsters to earn various points. Even first-level beasts are as tough as mainstay teams. Gather at the plaza to receive supplies before departure. After finishing, Lin Zuyao turned and left. Everyone keep order. Line up to receive supplies. At this time, a majestic voice echoed across the plaza. It was the sect master. As awakened ones, even without an amplification artifact, his voice carried great authority. Awakened ones receive supplies in the middle. Artifact refiners to the right. Alchemists to the left. Cultivation is not a focus in our sect. Who chose to cultivate? Everyone knows. Different programs. In the sect exam, get different resource packs, except for standard pills and recovery potions. Awakened get Holy Academy's custom spirit energy. Artifact refiners get a beginner's refining kit. Puppet alchemists get a basic pill furnace. As for cultivation, no one has ever chosen that path in the sect exams. Even the sect master isn't sure what tools fit. He was briefly puzzled but then laughed. The disciple who chose cultivation? Come get supplies from me. This moment may be awkward for an ordinary disciple, but not for me at all. I calmly stepped onto the stage. If you change your mind now, I can let you switch your program once. The sect master advised. No need, I shook my head. The sect master was helpless. Why is this kid so stubborn? But he couldn't say more. Do your best. The sect master looked displeased, glanced at the onlookers. What are you looking at? Hurry and get your supplies. At that moment, a girl with icy blue long hair, tall and elegant, a beautiful girl with delicate features walked by me. Her eyes sparkled. She discreetly glanced at me. That's Su Hanshuang from the core branch. The only girl among our 7 top-ranked awakened disciples. The only one, seen up close. She's so beautiful. Male disciples gazed at Su Hanshuang in admiration. Half an hour later, everyone had received their resources. Under the sect master's direction, over 1,000 examinees marched out of the sect. The atmosphere in Lingzhou was tense. Many disciples were anxious, trying to calm their nerves by chatting. Many stole glances at me. Isn't he afraid? Heard from the azure cloud sect's 6 halls. Not only has his bloodline changed, but also got abandoned by his old team. Who'd want to carry dead weight? These people laughed out loud, as if the laughter could ease their stress. Enough. Arrived at Trial Mystic Realm No.38. Hovering 200 jang above the ground, everyone jumped from Lingzhou. The hatch opened. Escorts handed each person a flying talisman. All examinees formed small teams, jumped one after another into a ruin. The mystic realm was covered in vines and spiritual grass. Spirit bugs fluttered. The air was thick with moist spiritual energy. Hey, look, who is that? The only cultivator in the entire sect. A 1 in 10,000 chance. And yet, we happened to encounter them. A male disciple looked surprised. By the way, if we run into any beasts later, should we help him out? A female disciple asked worriedly. Of course we should help. How do we help with the assessment? By assisting our fellow sect members. Then let him report it. We can also earn bonus points. A burly male disciple looked extremely confident. Just as the 5 of them were talking, 3 underworld wolves suddenly darted out from the ruins behind me. Each one was about 10 feet tall and 20 feet long, baring their fangs, looking especially fierce, but I acted as if I didn't notice. The underworld wolves continued to walk forward behind me. Even though their bloodline hasn't awakened, they still dare to be careless in the secret realm. That's basically courting death. Although the burly male disciple said this, he still gripped his spirit blade, ready to act at any moment. The underworld wolf stood atop a stone covered in spirit grass. Its glowing green eyes locked onto the figure ahead, and suddenly charged forward. I just glanced at the 3 underworld wolves, but didn't dodge or retreat. This fool is really about to make a move. The 5 hiding behind the ruins saw this, and couldn't help but curse out loud. That's an underworld wolf, not a sect spirit pet. Not only can underworld wolves break through spirit spells, but their sharp teeth and claws rushing toward you carry incredible force. Even those whose bloodline has awakened, if hit head-on by an underworld wolf, would lose their mobility temporarily. If someone without an awakened bloodline got hit, they'd either die or be seriously injured. But at the next moment, I turned around and struck suddenly. Boom! 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 3 punches in succession struck out into the air. The 3 charging underworld wolves flew off like cannonballs. One of them rolled right in front of the 5-person team, bleeding from the mouth, and died moments later. The burly male disciple lowered his head, staring at the dead first-grade beast at his feet, utterly stunned. He actually killed an underworld wolf. How is that even possible? Someone whispered in surprise. Xiaogang, how did that guy do it? A female disciple widened her eyes and looked at the burly male disciple. Zhao Gang swallowed nervously, one-shotting a first-grade beast. He must be at least a heavenly level awakener, right? Ordinary awakeners can kill first-grade beasts, but only after a fierce fight. Only heavenly level awakeners can unleash awakening skills and instantly kill a first-grade beast. At this moment, I flicked the beast's core out of the underworld wolf with my blade, then put it into my storage pouch, and immediately walked away without looking back. After breaking through the key refining stage, all of my senses have greatly improved. Even the slightest movement within 100 feet around me, I can perceive it easily. So I sensed it early on. Both the underworld wolves and these disciples nearby. They were just a few first-grade awakeners, not even worth my attention. After putting away 3 beast cores, I walked straight towards the center of the ruined secret realm. The deeper you go into the secret realm, the stronger the beasts get, and the more points you can earn. If you want to participate in the Destiny Cup, you have to at least make the top 50 in Yangzhou. So hunting beasts of grade 2 or higher in the central area is my goal. When Qin Mahan passed by a ruined palace,
A small team emerged from inside.
one of them was shocked, looking at Qin Mahan. Wang Hao, a friend I met when I joined. You, man, what's been up with you these days? You took leave and couldn't even be reached by Jade messaging token. Are you okay? Wang Hao asked carelessly. I'm fine. After returning from reincarnation, I haven't used magical tools much. so I didn't see Wang Hao's attempts to contact me. Good, as long as you're okay. Are you on your own? Where are Shen Ying and the others? Never mind, never mind. Since you're alone, just come with me. Wang Hao rambled on for a while. I bowed my head and laughed. Okay. That's more like it. With the Zhuanshan duo teaming up for the assessment, we're sure to crush everything. As for my joining, Wang Hao was delighted. Let me introduce. These are my fellow hall disciples. They're all quite capable. Qin Mo, my best friend, will come with us later. Let's all look out for each other. Wang Hao introduced. I nodded indifferently. Seeing my attitude, Liu Feng and the other three felt unhappy. But for Wang Hao's sake, said nothing more. Just hoping this guy isn't too shameless. That he'll leave once he gets enough entry points. Instead of leeching off our team any longer. Walking through the ruins, Liu Feng and the others discussed the assessment and strategy. Though our team added another member. If we put in effort, we should still get a share of the points like before. Du Ming glanced at me, then said, regarding my joining. Of course I could hear their dissatisfaction, but I didn't say much. At this moment, I looked up at the ruins to my right. From my senses, there were beasts getting closer over there. They seemed to be in groups. The beasts took 2 steps. So Wang Hao and the others stopped and became alert, scanning their surroundings. Just then, from the ruins ahead right came the sound of beasts charging. 25 beasts burst out of the ruins. 1 grade 2 iron armor wild boar, 12 grade 1 underworld wolves, 11 grade 1 twin-tailed spirit cats. Qin Mahan and I will distract the grade 2 iron armor wild boar. The rest of you quickly handle the grade 1 beasts. Wang Hao looked serious. He said coldly. The other 3 said nothing more. They drew their spirit blades and charged forward. The iron armor wild boar, just like its name, high in attack and defense. It's hard to kill. Obviously, Wang Hao didn't plan to solo the grade 2 beast. His movements were agile, weaving and dodging, light as a swallow. Wang Hao tangled with the iron armor wild boar 4 or 5 moments, until Liu Feng and the other 3 finished off all those grade 1 beasts, and came over to surround the iron armor wild boar together. In less than half an hour, they took down all 18 beasts that appeared, earning 27 points. This speed is pretty good for the assessment. Standard rule, a little over 5 points per person. 2 points held back. I calmly accepted my 5 beast cores. Since I took part in the team's spoils, I will naturally contribute from here on, giving back more to this team. Far more than these 5 beast cores. That's my confidence. Gurgle gurgle just then. A deep sound echoed from the ruins, like a spirit bird's cry from deep within the secret realm. Not good, it's grade 2 gale ostriches. Sounds like at least 10 grade 2 gale ostriches. Liu Feng and the others heard the calls. Their faces grew serious. Wang Hao frowned. Let's retreat first. Then, suddenly gale ostriches burst out from the ruins all around. They surrounded them in the middle. Each one stood nearly 20 or 30 feet tall. Their claws looked like they were forged from spirit iron. The sense of pressure was overwhelming. Everyone's face instantly changed. Wang Hao drew his spirit blade, ready to fight with everything he had. Stick close to me in a moment. Let's focus on escaping first. But before he could finish,
He saw a figure flash past him.
that figure moved extremely fast. So fast their eyes couldn't even track it. Only when the figure stopped, it twisted the gale ostrich's neck like grabbing a chick. Did they finally see who it was? Qin Mahan and Wang Hao were both stunned. Wasn't he supposed to be without awakened bloodline? How could he be this powerful? Then, I dragged the gale ostrich toward them. Wang Hao burst out laughing and gave me a punch. You guy, when did you get so strong? You just one-shotted a second-tier beast. Don't tell me you're a heaven-grade awakener. I shook my head. No, I'm a cultivator. The 4 other cultivators were surprised. Isn't cultivating just for longevity? How does it grant combat power? He had felt some pressure inviting Qin Mahan to join earlier. To be honest, after all, this team was only formed to target the elite sect entry scores. Never expected Qin Mahan to be this strong. Looks like they're lucky to have teamed up with him. Old Du, my brother's okay, right? Wang Hao raised his eyebrows and looked at Du Ming. Du Ming forced a nervous smile. Since Qin Makan's this capable, I say we keep heading deeper. Liu Wei stepped in to ease the mood. We might even score over 1,500 points. That would get us into a top-tier sect. I agree as well. Qin Mahan, what do you think? I've got no objections either. Ever since I saw Wang Hao, I plan to give him a hand. Time passed quickly. By dusk, another group was moving through a ruined area full of spirit grass. Shen Yingshuang's 5-person team moved forward cautiously. Be careful, we're near the center of the secret realm now. Almost all around are second-tier beasts. A bespectacled male disciple warned quietly. With Qin Mo, as long as that awakened bloodline guy was with us, we still needed to be cautious. But now he's gone. So why should we hold back? Zhao Yi added. Shen Yingshuang felt a bit guilty. We made him leave right at the end. Isn't that kind of bad? He hasn't awakened any bloodline, and chose cultivation instead. How will he pass this trial? Another female disciple, Zhao Min, chuckled. My dear Miss Shen, you're being soft-hearted again. Right then. They heard a noise ahead. Lin Feng whispered a reminder. Everyone immediately went quiet and on alert, staring ahead. Suddenly, a burst beast burst forth, rushing out from the ruins ahead. This beast was about the size of a person, almost 30 feet long, its whole body jet black, with 2 golden patterns, running from its head to its tail. A third-tier beast! A golden-striped nether panther. It's hurt. There's a heaven-grade awakener hunting this third-tier beast. Zhao Yi and Tanya stared intently ahead. There they are. Zhao Min's eyes shone brightly. She wanted to see which heaven-grade awakener it was. Hunting a third-tier beast. If it's someone from our own sect, maybe she could connect with them afterwards. That's Qin Mahan. Zhao Min saw that among the 5 people who rushed out, Qin Mahan was there. She was stunned on the spot. That guy really is lucky.
He actually ended up together with Liu Wei's group.
You know those others? Shen Yingshuang asked. Zhao Yi nodded. They're all awakeners from our sect. Their team might even make it into our sect's top 30. Qin Mahan is really lucky. He got into their squad. Shen Yingshuang looked on with a hint of envy. I only know one Wang Hao. I didn't expect the others to be this formidable. Tanya clicked her tongue. These guys are really bold, daring to hunt a tier 3 demon beast. Let's go check it out. The group quickly gave chase. Today they hunted quite a few demon beasts, mostly tier 2 and tier 1. They didn't encounter a tier 3 beast until evening. I stepped in and severely injured it. Unexpectedly, that golden-striped nether panther burst out with power and escaped at death's door. We carefully crossed a ruined high wall. I grabbed the charging Wang Hao. Right as he was about to catch the panther, it slipped away again. What are you doing? Wang Hao looked at Qin Mahan in confusion. Qin Mahan didn't answer. A sharp whooshing sound rang out. A blade reflecting the golden sunset slashed through the air. It pinned the golden-striped nether panther right onto the ruins. Wang Hao saw this and couldn't help but gasp in shock. If Qin Mahan hadn't pulled him just now, he would have been covered in blood right there. The assessment doesn't forbid contestants from stealing points, but it's rare for someone to snatch prey so recklessly and endanger others. Who is it? Wang Hao angrily looked in the direction the spiritual blade came from. 3 people stepped out from the ruins. They were 3 young men in gray-black robes, disciples of Tangshuan sect. Liu Wei, a Tian-grade awakened of Tangshuan sect in spiritual robes. They instantly recognized the Tangshuan sect members. What are you doing here? Judging by this stance, they're trying to steal our prey. Zhou Zixuan, with bangs across his forehead, looked sunny and handsome, but right now he gazed at everyone with arrogance.
Hearing Zhou Zixuan's words,
Wang Hao got furious instantly. What do you mean your prey? This golden-striped nether panther was obviously wounded and chased here by us. Zhou Zixuan smiled indifferently. He pointed at the panther nailed to the ruin wall and said, Whose spiritual blade is that? Wang Hao was momentarily speechless.
he glared furiously.
Liu Wei and the others could also tell their opponents wanted to steal the prey. Everyone clenched their fists at the other side. These are Tangshuan sect's Tian grade awakened. Even if they all went at once, they might not be able to win. This beast was pinned to death by my spiritual blade. And this spiritual blade is mine. So this demon beast naturally belongs to me. Zhou Zixuan ignored their angry looks. He walked up to the panther nailed to the wall, took down the spiritual blade, and flicked the blade tip gently, flicking the golden-striped nether panther aside. Just then the beast's core, a thumb-sized spirit stone, suddenly shot out. It hit the ruined wall with a ding, then bounced right into the panther being flicked by Zhou Zixuan. The bounced beast core flew perfectly, right toward me. Then I waved my hand and caught the beast core directly. There's an expert. Zhou Zixuan's eyes narrowed. He stared at me coldly. A normal person pulling off such a move. Interesting. This demon beast is mine? So that spiritual blade stuck in it should be mine as well. I looked at the spiritual blade in Zhou Zixuan's hand and slowly reached out my right hand. Interesting. It's been a while since someone dared to act so arrogant in front of me. Zhou Zixuan couldn't help but laugh.
He slowly raised his right arm.
The temperature around him rose sharply. The spiritual grass at his feet instantly dried up. He's a Tian grade awakened with fire abilities. I'll give you one more chance. Hand over the beast core with both hands, and kneel down to admit your mistake. Zhou Zixuan licked his lips. Flames curled around his right arm, like a fire dragon coiling around him. It looked truly terrifying. He was waiting for the other side to be intimidated, and then beg for mercy on his knees. Yet I remained calm as ever. I slowly shook my head. No need, enough. Then your assessment ends here. Zhou Zixuan sneered. As soon as he spoke, the flames around his arm surged like a fire dragon pouncing forth, snapping at me. Watch out! Qin Mahan, Wang Hao, and the others were shocked. But in my eyes, this technique is even more childish than kids playing with fire. I simply snapped my fingers. A sharp spiritual beam tore through the air, blasting out. Poof! The seemingly fierce flame was instantly scattered, easily shattered by the spiritual force. Sparks rained down everywhere. What? He actually dispersed my fire dragon. How did he do that? Zhou Zixuan and his companions were shocked, staring at Qin Mahan. Interesting, let me try again. My twin dragon's fury. Zhou Zixuan unleashed another attack.
His fire dragon was broken again.
He flew into a rage. He raised both arms, both wrapped in fire dragons, and lunged at me again. Stop. Song Jingyan grabbed Zhou Zixuan by the shoulder. Zhou Zixuan's flames died down.
He glared at Song Jingyan angrily.
What do you mean? We aren't even at the center of the realm yet. Don't waste your energy here. It's just a tier 3 demon beast. Let them have it. Zhou Zixuan came back to his senses. Damn it, almost messed things up. That was close. Lucky for you, let's go. Zhou Zixuan, Song Jingyan, and the third left. But just then, a calm voice sounded again. Did I say you could leave? These words made Wang Hao and the others break out in a cold sweat. Oh my god. The Tangshuan sect Tian grade awakened just left. Why are you still provoking them? Zhou Zixuan had been restraining himself, but at these words,
He instantly laughed in anger.
you're really pushing it. Even if it costs my ranking, I'll make sure you stay down for a year. I said coldly. Go ahead and try. Song Jingyan frowned, stepping between the two. He sent waves of spiritual pressure at Qin Mahan, but they were all forced back by an invisible force. A brief clash made Song Jingyan's expression change. This person is strong. Right now, Song Jingyan didn't want to waste any more time, so he handed over his spiritual blade to Qin Mahan. Is this enough? I nodded slowly. We'll leave it at that this time. Remember, there won't be a next time. Jingyan, don't stop me. Let me teach this kid a lesson. Zhou Zixuan was like a furious beast, but Song Jingyan held him back firmly. It's just a spiritual blade. Let him have it, Song Jingyan said in a serious tone. We can't let this delay our main goal. In the end, Zhou Zixuan bitterly suppressed his rage and turned away in anger. Wang Hao and the others were already shocked by Qimo Kan's actions. Staring in amazement, they knew Qin Mahan was powerful. But to see him take on a Tian grade awakened, head on, and even take a spiritual blade from a Tian grade awakened, made their respect grow deeper. They're heading to the center of the secret realm. Should we still go? Wang Hu asked. Go, why not? I replied calmly. Meanwhile, at the secret realm assessment site, beneath a sign that read, Authorized personnel only, 4 battered figures suddenly appeared. Why did you stop? A middle-aged cultivator holding a delicate Suzuki box. He shouted interrogatively. Third brother illegally entered the assessment's secret realm. That's against the rules. If we're caught, we'll face severe punishment. A young man with messy clothes and a bandaged arm hesitated. Is this the time for that? If those guys cap with us, we'll lose our lives. Who cares about breaking the rules now? After finishing, the middle-aged man hugged an exquisite wooden box. He directly leapt over the 5 or 6 jang tall spiritual net and jumped into the secret realm. The other 3 hesitated briefly, then followed him in. Shortly after they entered, a dozen burly men appeared. Should we keep chasing Wei Mingyuan since they also entered the secret realm? Someone asked. The effects of the Millennium Spirit Fruit and Snow Domain Fruit are incredible. As long as there's a breath left, it can bring someone back. We must take them back to the family. The next morning, in a ruin within the spirit realm, Wang Hao and his team were dividing up the beast materials. Now all the second-rank beasts are dealt with by Wang Hao's group, and I only step in if it's a third-rank beast. At this moment, a crashing sound echoed in the ruins. Helping fellow disciples in the assessment earns extra points. So Wang Hao and his team immediately rushed over. Shen Yushuang, Wang Hao exclaimed in surprise. At this moment, Shen Yingshuang's clothes were torn. Hearing someone calling her, she looked toward the source of the voice. Just as she opened her mouth, tears streamed down like broken beads. Our team got separated by many second-rank beasts. I barely escaped with my life. Shen Yingshuang's eyes were bloodshot, crying her heart out. Go back, I said lightly, then turned to leave. Qi Mahan, are we just going to ignore her? Wang Hao chased after.
Qi Mahan asked in surprise.
She's faking it. The injuries are fake. Her leg is fine. I shook my head. Then why is she acting like this? Wang Hao and the others were stunned. I chuckled softly. Seeing our team is strong. She wants a share of the loot. That girl is really scheming. Careful, I stopped walking. Wang Hao and his team instantly grew alert. At that moment, a giant beast emerged from the woods ahead. Like a runaway, a spirit carriage broke through, charging right at us. Rocks flew everywhere. Spiritual energy scattered. A third-rank beast. Bloodthirsty demon mastiff. It's wounded. Upon seeing this, Wang Hao and his companions, their faces instantly changed. You drew your spirit blade and infused it with spiritual power. Then threw the spirit blade. The blade gleamed with a cold light and shot through the air. The blade hit the bloodthirsty demon mastiff's neck perfectly, pinning it to the ground nearby. The bloodthirsty demon hound under control lets out a deep, hoarse roar, struggles twice, then becomes motionless. I walk over to retrieve my spirit blade, picking out the demon hound's demon core, then turn and leave instantly. Clean and efficient. After they leave, 3 more people come from the direction the demon hound charged out, chasing after. Seeing the demon hound killed again, their expressions all change. Song Jingyan walks in, crouching down to inspect. Who was it? Which thief stole my prey? Zhou Zixuan burns with anger.
He jumps over, the temperature rising around him.
Calm down a bit. Song Jingyan snaps in displeasure, slightly frowning. These traces look a bit like those left by my spirit blade. Hearing this, Zhou Zixuan flies into a rage. Damn it, it's that bastard again. Better not let me run into him. This time, nothing will help. Wang Hao and the others hear the angry roar behind them. Then they speed up to escape. 4 p.m. The center of the ruins' secret realm. The 5 of them sort their spoils on the first floor of the ruins. Wang Hao and his group are excitedly talking about their current points. It's not even 2 days yet, and we've already earned over 1,000 points. A bit more effort tomorrow, and 1,500 points is possible. That's the admission cutoff for top sects. Next, I'm planning to walk alone. I said, joining this squad was to help Wang Hao get points. Now Wang Hao has enough points, so I have no reason to stay. Although Liu Wei and the others expected this, hearing Qin Mahan say it still makes them feel a bit disappointed. Alright, but be careful going alone to the secret realm center. Tomorrow is the last day of the trial. After midday, the spirit network will open. The points input channel. It's most chaotic before then. Wang Hu reminds. I nod and separate from Wang Hao, walking alone on the ruined street. Boom suddenly. The ruined building on my right, covered in vines, is smashed to pieces by a monster. A third-rank monster, iron-armored savage boar, charges like a spiritual car, rushing toward me. Just as you're about to strike, you sense something, and withdraw, moving aside. Behind the iron-armored savage boar are 3 giant legs, each as thick as 2 meters. Long white ice spikes shoot forward violently. The 3 ice spikes seem to conceal spiritual power, accurately piercing into the iron-armored savage boar, pinning it hard to the ground. The iron-armored savage boar lets out a roar. Just as its spiritual blood flows out, it's frozen into spiritual ice, and its whole body is covered with a layer of white frost. Soon, it loses its breath. 4 figures step out from the ruined building the iron-armored savage boar smashed. One girl among them has ice blue long hair, tall and slender, with delicate features. She's like a graceful spirit crane approaching. It is Su Hanshuang from Qinmahan's sect. It's you! Su Hanshuang immediately spots Qinmahan. Her pretty face shows surprise. What are you doing here? This is more or less the central area of the secret realm. There are monsters above 2nd rank all around. You're really bold, huh? Su Hanshuang curiously looks at Qinmahan, waving her hand casually. The sharp soldiers stuck in the iron-armored savage boar melt. A demon core wrapped in ice shards flies into her hand. Just wandering around, I replied calmly. I know several seniors who cultivate. They usually love to meditate, and they're terribly afraid of monsters. But you don't seem scared of 3rd-rank monsters, Su Hanshuang asks. I glance at the dying iron-armored savage boar. What's so scary about something that's dying? Su Hanshuang smiles charmingly. You're really interesting. Stop wandering ahead. Many awakened geniuses are now in the secret realm center. There'll be big battles here soon. You'll get caught up in them, Su Hanshuang warns. Then she elegantly turns and leaves. Soon after, I continue toward the secret realm center. Night falls. Starlight twinkles. Without spiritual stones, I'm really not used to it. Combat relies entirely on eyesight. The night affects me too much. You turn around. Today's hunting is over. I'll hunt again in the secret realm center tomorrow. 3rd-rank monster, like a nimble spirit beast, bounds across the ruins in a few leaps, disappearing into the darkness. Arriving at a relatively intact ruin, I stop just about to go in, when I suddenly hear a fight nearby. Under the moonlight, I see over a dozen monsters besieging 3 people. Judging by their clothing and builds, they don't seem to be examinees. You don't plan to intervene. It's a habit formed in previous lives. Better not to meddle unless there's some benefit, unless it pays off. Just as I'm about to turn away, I'm suddenly startled. My gaze falls on the delicate Suzuki one person is holding. There's a spiritual medicine on the box. I raise my eyebrow. Isn't this world supposed to have depleted spiritual energy? How come there's still spiritual medicine? Could it be that there are secret realms and strange spaces here too? Though the world is drained of spiritual energy, secret realms within still have abundant spiritual energy for cultivation and growing spiritual herbs. A 3rd-rank monster tears its claws through the air, grabbing at the man holding the delicate Suzuki. He falls over, but still tightly hugs the Suzuki and his 3rd brother. Go first, we'll cover you, don't cause trouble. Cut the crap. If we're going, we go together. Lost a rare fruit. Shifeng's whereabouts are unknown. If I go back alone again, how do I explain to On 7 and the others? The 3 join forces, fighting desperately to escape the monster's encirclement, then quickly dive into an alley. A roar sounds within the alley. It's the lair of the 3rd-rank demon hound. The 3 are shocked by the sudden turn, faces changing with fear, immediately withdrawing. But monsters are already in pursuit, baring their teeth, fierce and menacing. Trapped, danger before and behind. No way forward or back. Looks like we won't survive tonight. Wei Mingyuan gives a bitter smile. A pity we found a spiritual fruit to heal the head of the family, but we can't bring it home. Just as Wei Mingyuan prepares to fight to his death, he suddenly sees a flash before his eyes. A figure flickers by. Several fierce 3rd-rank monsters fall. Spiritual blood sprays out. A young man wielding a spirit blade is slaughtering in the monster horde. Those third-rank monsters that trapped them with no way out. I like stray dogs before this youth, letting him kill at will. He cuts them down effortlessly. Soon, all nearby third-rank monsters are slain. Thank you, young brother. Wei Mingyuan and the others sincerely thank him. I nod slightly. My gaze falls on Wei Mingyuan's delicate Suzuki box in his arms. Wei Mingyuan tenses up inside. Is this young man also a bandit? Did he set his sights on the rare spiritual fruit? Out of the wolf's den and into the tiger's lair, huh? Young brother, you must be a candidate, right? Could I ask you, after the trial, to help me with something? I replied calmly. You say, I'm Wei Mingyuan of the Wei family in Yunzhou. Inside this box is a rare fruit. I'd like to ask you to deliver this spirit box to the Wei family in 10 days. Of course, we'll give you adequate compensation at that time. I hope this young man before me will spare us, considering his status and our promise of payment. Doesn't make a move against us. Hearing this foreign name, I frowned slightly. It's a very unfamiliar name, whether in my past life or this one. I've never heard of such a thing. Seeing my confusion, Wei Mingyuan started to explain. The exotic fruit is found deep within the secret realm, in the forest enveloping Lingwu. It's a spirit fruit that grows on some rare spiritual trees. This fruit possesses many miraculous effects. For example, curing all kinds of diseases, or enhancing one's strength, among other things. Wei Mingyuan continued. However, the forest is shrouded in spiritual mist, and danger lurks everywhere. There are countless powerful spirit beasts present, even top-notch awakened ones. Dare not be careless. I nodded to show my understanding. I then asked, I just heard you say, you're looking for the exotic fruit to heal your clan leader? Wei Mingyuan nodded. That's right. I also know a bit about medicine. If you don't mind, I can treat your master for you. As for the reward, I want that exotic fruit, I stated directly. Upon hearing this, Wei Mingyuan smiled bitterly to himself. In the end, it's all for this fruit. Brother, you saved our lives today, and I was planning to repay you on the spot. Since you need the exotic fruit, let it serve as our token of gratitude. Then he handed me the exquisite wooden box. I reached out and took it. Since I've agreed, I will surely visit the Wei family after the trial. Brother, we'll take our leave here, Wei Mingyuan said with a fist salute. Before leaving, he reminded me again. The Chan family is also eyeing this fruit. Now that it's in your hands, you should be careful. I nodded, accepting their kindness. Remembered Wei Mingyuan's reminder. After they left, dragging their injured bodies, I put away the spirit beast core and left the area as well. I hadn't gone far when 15 figures came rushing in.
Hey kid.
Did you see 3 wounded people pass through here? I shook my head. Damn it, how are those 3 so good at running away? The burly man in charge cursed under his breath. Yuang, look at the spirit core in this kid's hand. Chan Yuang took a glance, and a cold glint flashed in his eyes.
He said coldly, kid.
Where did you get that spirit core? Let me see it. You mean this one? I took out the spirit core. Yeah, that's the one. Let me have it. Chan Yuang reached out to grab it, but ended up grabbing nothing but air. I pulled the spirit core back. I picked it up. You want to steal it? Chan Yuang's face turned angry. Damn it, you must have a death wish. Energy erupted from his body, shaking the stones beneath his feet. Yuang, that's a bit much, isn't it? Rein it in, entering secret realms and killing examinees. That's a serious crime. The whole family would be implicated. Those backing him saw Chen Yuang genuinely angry. They were all startled. Chen Yuang is a Tier 4 awakened. He can casually punch with the force of 30 or 40,000 troops. Even a Tier 3 demon beast. He could kill it with one punch. Everyone sighed in low voices. Looks like they'll have to disguise themselves as beasts to kill. This little guy is pretty good. A deep voice erupted. A figure was blown back. With a loud crash, he slammed into the ruined building nearby. The rubble collapsed, burying him. Yuang, you're really not holding back. If you break what's in the river, what then? It's hard to see at night now. They couldn't make out the details. 2 people jogged forward, trying to get the spirit box from Chen Yuang to see what's inside. Wait, how is it you? Where's Yuang? Then 2 more figures were blown back. landing in the ruins crushed by Chun Yu Ang. A bit rusty. Let me stretch a bit. Azure 9 Transformations is the basic entry manual for Azure Immortal Sect. He once shattered stars with a single kick. Now, while he's not at that level anymore, he's more than enough to deal with a few awakened. The rest were stunned at this. How is this examinee so strong? Someone shouted, "All together now!" The remaining dozen rushed forward with a burst. Bang, bang, bang. Next moment, all dozen were blown back, slammed into the ruins. Cries of pain echoed one after another. I walked over to where Chun Yu Ang was buried. Chun Yu Ang looked battered and dirty, spitting out mud and sand. He knew he'd been defeated, kicked a sheet of spirit iron. That young man just now, he absolutely couldn't beat him. Suddenly saw himself being stared at. He immediately panicked. What are you trying to do? You're the leader of this team? The leader ignored Chun Yu Ang's question and asked coldly. Chun Yu Ang quickly shook his head. No, not at all. I frowned slightly, pulled another person out of the ruins, asked, "Who's your leader?" That person didn't answer, just looked over at Chun Yu Ang. Chun Yu Ang broke into cold sweat. Spare me. Chun Yu Ang dropped to his knees. Knows when to yield and when to stand tall. Arrogant with the weak, but submissive with the strong. I didn't fuss about it. Instead, raised my hand and cast a spell on Chun Yu Ang's brow. A streak of golden spirit energy flickered. I felt a sensation of coolness seep into my brow. Suddenly, inside the furnace, countless spirit ants seemed to gnaw. He grabbed his head with both hands, rolling on the ground, crying out in pain endlessly. After a moment, Chun Yu Ang finally stopped struggling. His voice was weak, shaking all over. What did you do to me? Just a minor spell, testing its effect. You're not human. Chun Yu Ang gritted his teeth. Shaky fingers pointed at me. I smiled calmly. Everything has a price. You attacked me. I spared your lives. But you have to pay for it. You 15 must bring me 15 of these rare fruits in half a year. Otherwise, every 3 days, you'll suffer. The pain you just did. When Chun Yu Ang heard this, he froze. Each rare fruit is worth tens of millions of spirit stones. 15 fruits are worth hundreds of millions. You might as well kill me. Although it's the lowest tier spiritual medicine, still sells for such a fortune. Makes sense. The world's spiritual energy is depleted. It's a lawless land. Growing such spiritual medicine naturally makes it priceless. I pondered for a while, then said again, 3 fruits delivered to me in half a year. I'll lift the spell for you. Chun Yu Ang heard this, and a glimmer of hope sparked. He was silent for a long time, then spoke up suddenly. You must cast the spell on them too. Otherwise I can't do it alone. I glanced at him in surprise. He's ruthless, definitely suited for the cultivation world. Without another word, cast the soul-devouring spell on them one by one, then left them a spirit communication talisman, so they could contact me after getting the fruit. Then left the scene, a relatively intact ruin. Atop the spirit tower, I took out the rare fruit from the spirit box, carved a spirit gathering array with my energy, placed the fruit in the array, meditated for cultivation. The array buzzed, a wave of spiritual light flashed. Streams of energy flowed into my body, feeling totally refreshed. But the rare fruit shriveled up quickly as I absorbed it. Didn't even reach mid-level first stage key training. I'm not satisfied with the fruit's effects. Since there's rare fruit, where it grew, there might be even more precious spiritual medicine. After the assessment, I need to learn more about this. If there are, breaking through to Golden Core within a year would be much easier. It's just dawn. I head toward the center of the secret realm. Arrived at some ruins. The center of the spirit ruins was filled with the scent of spirit blood and spirit grass sap. Must have been a fierce battle just recently. Suddenly, 2 clangs of spiritual energy clashing echoed in the ruins. Swept right past me. A fellow was alone. A male disciple in a blue robe. Came out carrying a spiritual blade. Looked me up and down. Whoa, you're not even an awakened? The guy swore and cursed. Even a mosquito's meat is something. Hand over everything you got these 2 days. Save yourself some pain. I laughed. So there's really someone robbing me. A minute later. Hey bro. Stop, it hurts. Go easy, bro. These are the beast materials we collected together. worth a total of 3,000 points. Please accept them. The 5 blue-robed disciples had bruised faces, kneeling on the ground, respectfully, offering up the beast materials from their storage bags with both hands. Go on, I put away the storage bag, looking calm. All right. The bruised 5 looked relieved, scrambled away from here. I kept moving forward. The sounds of fighting and beasts howling were everywhere, and fierce voices. Just then, a beast shadow fell in front of me. A demon beast dashed out from the collapsed ruins. It's a tier 3 silver-armored fierce rhino beast. Just then, 8 ice spikes shot out, all smashing into the silver-armored rhino beast. At that moment, a half-tiger, half-human figure rushed over, hammered the clumsy silver-armored rhino beast. Then 3 more people appeared. Together they killed the tier 3 silver-armored, fierce rhino beast. I stood aside, a bit surprised. Didn't expect to run into Su Hanshuang here again. Su Hanshuang saw me at this moment, and frowned, clearly unhappy. Hey, why didn't you listen? Told you not to come to the center of the secret realm, and here you are. You've got some guts? Too bad you didn't choose to be a craftsman, instead you chose cultivation. Such a waste. Zhao Jinghuan seemed quite impressed with my courage. Several people quickly took the demon core from the armored ferocious rhino beast. Then they walked toward me. What's up? Su Hanshuang shot me a glare. Don't you get what's happening now? There are awakened cultivators and tier 3 beasts everywhere here. Why are you a cultivator running around here? I know there's a relatively intact ruin nearby. It's safer there. We'll take you over. I sensed Su Hanshuang was being extra nice to me. I couldn't help but look at him a few more times. Zhao Jinghuan and his 2 companions who were with Su Hanshuang also stared at him in surprise. Hanshuang, why are you being so kind to him? Don't tell me you're into him. You're a tier 2 awakened cultivator. He's just a casual cultivator. You two have no future. Zhao Zixuan, who just transformed, returned to his normal form. Now he looked at the 2 suspiciously, and started speaking with full-on anime protagonist vibes. Su Hanshuang blushed instantly. Like I'd ever be into you. I'm only helping him because we're from the same sect. Oh, I see. Zhao Zixuan looked like it all suddenly made sense. All right, let's go then. We said we'd go stake out Feng Zuyao's base. Zhao Jinghuan nodded as well. I heard Feng Zuyao's group is filthy rich. Now, their team has at least 20,000 fans. Sun Mingui spoke up. I think we're better off looking for Zhou Zixuan's group. Are you crazy to go find them? Zhou Zixuan is from Changshuan's sect. Going to him is just asking for trouble. Zhao Jinghuan was stunned. Zhou Zixuan's group isn't that strong. I heard they tried to snatch someone's tier 3 beast before, but ended up biting off more than they could chew. Even lost a spiritual blade. Later, after a lot of effort, they managed to defeat a tier 3 bloodthirsty demon dragon, only for someone else to swoop in and steal their prize. Now they're still wandering around looking for that person with their blade. Sun Mingui explained with a smile. Zhao Jinghuan was shocked. They're awakened cultivators from Changshuan sect after all. So weak? The group kept discussing as they walked. I just listened quietly from the side. I really didn't expect the grudge between me and that guy to spread so fast. Just then, grr. A low growl sounded from the ruins ahead. Everyone immediately fell silent and got ready. They carefully peeked from behind the ruins and instantly looked pleased. The tier 3 beast is a blood fiend. What luck. Zhao Zixuan licked his lips. But there are 8 tier 2 beasts beside it. Su Hanshuang's eyebrows furrowed slightly. Stick close to me later. Don't wander too far. Zhao Jinghuan moved out first. He's also a fire-type awakened cultivator. Spiritual flames swirled around both his hands. He looked impressive. Zhao Zixuan grinned fiercely. His muscles bulged. His robe ripped apart. And, in a blink, he transformed into a half-human, half-tiger beast form. Radiating a wild and brutal aura, he rushed forward. Sun Mingui followed close behind, holding a spiritual sword. The sword flashed with golden light.
He easily dispatched a tier 2 beast that lunged at him.
Battle broke out in an instant. Su Hanshuang is basically a spellcaster. She summoned icicles as thick as arms around her, firing them like arrows from a bow, joining the fight. In less than 15 minutes, with their skilled teamwork, they quickly wiped out all the monsters. A perfect 1,800 points earned. Zhao Zixuan returned to normal. Then, Zhao Jinghuan tossed me a second-tier monster core. I was a bit surprised too. Just keep it. Since Han Shuang invited you to join us, you're temporarily part of the team now. Everyone gets a share, Sun Mingui said with a smile. Not bad, right? Zhao Zixuan changed into his robe, walked over and patted my shoulder. Come with us. If we have meat, you get to enjoy the soup too. Suddenly, 3 spirit sword chimes sounded from the ruins. Su Hanshuang and the others immediately stopped joking, hid behind the ruins and went on alert. Su Hanshuang, stop hiding. Your group of 5 gets 5,000 points. We'll turn around and leave. A crisp, pleasant female voice sounded. Who knows you anyway? Zhao Jinghuan looked at Su Hanshuang. Su Hanshuang looked a bit puzzled. She shook her head while Zhao Zixuan secretly peeked out, then quickly pulled back. Damn it. Feng Ziao was just talking about staking them out. But we haven't even gone yet. And now they found us instead. How are those guys so energetic? They're actually robbing top-tier awakeners from 3 sects. Why isn't the team hiding somewhere to rest right now? They're even daring to rob us. Zhao Zixuan said through gritted teeth. Su Hanshuang paused and said, I heard that in school, no. 5. There's a top-tier awakener with healing powers. Maybe they're in Feng Ziyou's team. No wonder they're so cocky. Zhao Jingwan's expression grew serious. What should we do? Sun Mingui asked. Let's rush out and take them down. No way, no way. They have a healing-type awakener. They can fight and heal at the same time. We can't win. Zhao Jinghuan shook his head. So what's the lineup in Feng Ziyou's team? I asked. 3 second-tier top awakeners. And 2 first-tier top awakeners. Zhao Jinghuan replied. I nodded and asked, any third-tier top awakeners? Number. What do you want to do? Zhao Jinghuan stared at me. No third-tier top awakeners. Why are you all still so afraid? In the cultivation world, we fight against heaven, against earth and against others. If you're not brave, you can't make it in the cultivation world. So I can't agree with Zhao Jinghuan and the others' cowardly attitude. I kind of disagree. Right at that moment, rubble and gravel flew everywhere. A nearly 10-meter tall bearman covered in brown fur smashed the ruins with a punch and let out an excited howl at the sky. You really think I'm an easy target? Zhao Zixuan cursed and instantly transformed into a tiger beast form. A bearman and a tiger man were fiercely battling each other. Heavy blows, fist to flesh. Su Hanshuang says, give us 5,000 points, and you can leave. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless. Feng Ziyao walked up with a playful smile, saw me, and couldn't help but tease. Where did you find this pretty boy? He's pretty handsome. Little cutie, you'll get nowhere with Su Hanshuang. How about you come with me instead? Su Hanshuang's face blushed bright red. Feng Ziyao, he's just my fellow disciple. Say another word and I'll rip that mouth of yours apart. Believe it or not? Feng Ziyao laughed even harder. Oh. Yeah, but could you beat me though? Feng Ziyao waved her hand. 8 more top-tier awakeners walked out of the ruins. Su Hanshuang bit her silver teeth hard and stared angrily at Feng Ziyao. I stepped forward and chuckled. If you give me 20,000 points, I'll join you too. The moment I said that, both Su Hanshuang and Feng Ziyao were stunned. How could he stay so calm while saying something so audacious? 20,000? You really dare to ask for 20,000? Why not just go rob someone instead? At that moment, watch out, Su Hanshuang called out. Monsters incoming. Everyone turned pale. I frowned slightly. This scent is almost identical to that of the exotic fruit. Countless monsters were flooding toward them like a tidal wave. What is going on? Is the exam area flooded too? Everyone was shocked. Suddenly, my eyes lit up. I saw a third-tier monster, holding an exotic fruit in its mouth. Stop staring, run. Su Hanshuang's pretty face was filled with panic. The next moment, in the direction we tried to escape, some monsters caught the scent and surrounded us. Now they were trapped in the middle of the monster pack. See, Xu Kuang, you take 3 people to protect Lin Yuwei. Lin Yuwei is their team's healer. Everyone else, go! Feng Zuyao made a quick decision. Qin Mahan, what are you doing? Don't go too far from me. Su Hanshuang shouted. I shook my head. Just a few monsters, nothing to worry about. Then I charged straight in without looking back. What's with this guy? He's even more reckless than Zhao Zixuan. Su Hanshuang stomped her foot in anger. Right at that moment, I dove into the monster horde, spirit blade in hand. Spiritual energy gathered. Blade King's bloody shadow gleamed, slashing down all the charging monsters. I fought my way to the 5 third-tier monsters battling over the exotic fruit. Used the elusive blade technique at the same time, instantly slashing out countless blade lights, which rained down like a storm on the 5 monsters. The 5 third-tier monsters fighting for the exotic fruit had their fur stand on end and immediately dodged me, stepping on 7-star steps. It was almost like teleportation. I appeared in front of the bloodthirsty demon hound holding the exotic fruit. The bloodthirsty demon hound saw me suddenly in front of it, opened its bloody jaws and tried to bite me, dropping the exotic fruit from its mouth. I just raised my leg and kicked, sending the bloodthirsty demon hound flying into the monster horde. I picked up the exotic fruit, which was covered in bite marks and dirt, but I didn't mind at all. I cast a spirit technique to temporarily seal the exotic fruit, to prevent its spiritual energy from leaking. The monsters that had gone crazy over the exotic fruit suddenly realized the scent was gone. Some of the 3rd-tier monsters, being smarter, immediately turned and ran. Su Hanshuang searched through the chaos and saw me, not a drop of blood on my clothes, walking over as if taking a stroll. She was instantly dumbfounded. Qin Mahan, are you okay? Zhao Zixuan looked at me. Little cutie, not bad. In and out of a massacre, and you're still just fine. Feng Zuyao raised an eyebrow. What's your talent? That's pretty impressive, I said coolly. Cultivating immortality. Feng Zuyao frowned. What kind of talent is that? Haven't you heard of it before? The awakeners following her all shook their heads. Never heard of it. Su Hanshuang scoffed. Long hair, short knowledge. Qinlo hasn't even awakened a bloodline. He's a cultivator. Feng Zuyao immediately widened her eyes and stared at me. Are you kidding me? Aren't cultivators supposed to meditate for health? If they were actually this powerful, who would bother awakening their bloodline? I'm not interested in explaining further. As I passed by Su Hanshuang, I stopped in my tracks. Go ahead, what do you want me to do? Su Hanshuang hesitated with some guilt and said, Actually, I want to meet your master. My grandfather suffers from hidden injuries. For decades, even spiritual healers couldn't cure him. He once said maybe a true cultivator could heal him. I smiled and said there's no need for my master to get involved. After the test is over, if I have time, I can take a look. Su Hanshuang's pretty face showed some disdain. You're so young, and you know how to heal. If you can't treat it, then having your master step in won't be too late. Su Hanshuang smiled. It's a deal then. I'll come find you after the test. I nodded. Then, under everyone's gaze, I slowly left. At that moment, 3 figures approached. It was Zhou Zixuan, Song Jingyan, and their group. Seeing how hard they worked reminded me of spirit ants, struggling to bring food back to their nest. Zhou Zixuan smirked. And then you take it all in one swoop. Cao Junior gave a half smile. Weaklings deserve nothing better. Suddenly, Zhou Zixuan's eyes narrowed. It was he, Song Jingyan, and Cao Junior who saw me. Their gazes instantly turned cold. You stole our prey, and still dare to come to the heart of the secret realm. You had a way out, but you chose not to take it. You just have a death wish. Zhou Zixuan sneered. He raised his hand and unleashed a tongue of fire, burning a patch of spirit herbs in front of me. Su Hanshuang, Feng Zuyao, and the others all looked up. Their faces immediately changed. Disciples of the Tangshuan sect, you better not wander around. Take one more step forward, and no one can guarantee your safety. Zhou Zixuan shot me a cold glance then, looked over at Feng Zuyao and the others, with a fake smile on his face. Thank you all for your hard work. Just leave the beast materials you gathered for me right here. That's good enough. Now you have 15 minutes to get out of here. His words were arrogant and reckless. Now it was almost noon. They could record their points soon. They didn't want any unexpected trouble. Zhao Jinghuan muttered to himself about his bad luck. Then he turned to leave. Zhou Zixuan waved his hand, and a line of fire shot out, landing at Zhao Jinghuan's feet. You can leave, but your things stay. Zhao Jinghuan's expression changed and he shouted coldly. Zhou Zixuan, don't go too far. Zhou Zixuan chuckled indifferently. Oh really? In the next instant, Zhao Jinghuan made the first move. He swung both arms, spiritual fire swirling around him, looking like a rampaging fire giant, showing off in front of a master. Zhou Zixuan sneered with disdain. Spiritual fire erupted from both of his arms.
He clapped his hands together.
And the spiritual fire surged wildly, turning into volleys of fire arrows. Zhao Jingwen's swirling spiritual fire was instantly scattered by Zhou Zixuan's fire arrows. He got hit by several arrows and spat out a mouthful of spiritual blood as he was knocked flying to the ground. Zhao Zixuan transformed into a half-human, half-tiger form, standing nearly 10 feet tall. But standing in front of the bear man painting conjured by Cao Junyuan, he still looked smaller by a size. The two exchanged punches. Zhao Zixuan quickly stepped back several times, but Cao Junyuan didn't budge an inch. Sun Minghui's spirit blade unleashed a golden glow and slashed towards Song Jingyan. Before he could reach Song Jingyan, his spirit blade clanged loudly to the ground. Song Jingyan kicked him away with one strike. Are the celestial level awakened from ordinary sects really this weak? Zhou Zixuan's arm flexibly flickered, looking down from above, and stared at Zhao Jinghuan and the others they'd knocked to the ground. He shook his head slightly. Hearing this, the defeated crowd looked extremely upset. A bet is a bet. Everyone threw their beast materials over one by one from their storage bags. You can keep yours. Song Jingyan stopped Lin Yue from retrieving her storage bag, wearing a friendly smile. I heard there's a big competition when the sect opens. I'm looking forward to working with you then. Lin Yue remained non-committal. Hey, these guys aren't that strong, but they're pretty good at collecting beast materials. Song Jingyan also smiled, glanced at Priest Ji with indifferent spiritual energy. You all can go now. There's still half an hour left. If we get lucky before noon, we should still be able to find another 800 points. Looks like everything's done. I stood up and dusted myself off. Guess it's my turn now. Stop. Zhou Zixuan's cold voice rang out. Everyone froze. I didn't say you could leave. Zhou Zixuan pointed at me. Who said I was leaving? Chinmahan, don't act up. Hand over the beast materials. Su Hanshuang sounded worried, quietly reminding me. I shook my head and stared right at the arrogant Zhou Zixuan, and said calmly, I let it go last time. Don't push your luck. Seems you guys didn't take my words seriously. With an overly mature tone. It really sounded like an elder lecturing kids. Dude, seriously. Do you even know the situation right now? Those guys are all Tier 2 Celestial Awakened from Tangshuan sect. Be glad they aren't messing with you. And you still dare provoke them? A bruised examinee behind Feng Ziyao looked at me with resentment, and unconsciously moved a little further away from me. Zhou Zixuan and the other two heard my words. Their expressions darkened deeply. Even Song Jingyan, known for his patience, was glared coldly at by me. His eyes flashed dangerously. I let you go once before, to save strength and earn more points. Now that I've got enough points, you think you can get away from me? Zhou Zixuan's face twisted, and he sneered cruelly. The energy flexed around his arm again, looking like he'd strike at any moment. As soon as I said that, Su Hanshuang and the others held their breath, all staring wide-eyed at me. They had just been discussing who was tough enough to break through Zhou Zixuan's fire tongues. Turns out that person was me. I spoke slowly. Go ahead and try if you think you can. Then looked over at Song Jingyan and Cao Junyuan. You guys too, go for it. Let's not waste any more time. Song Jingyan was amused by that. It's been a long time since anyone dared look down on us like that, especially as Tangshuan sect's celestial awakened. Cao Junyuan is a beast type awakened. The next moment he raised his fist and swung it at my head. Careful, dodge. Su Hanshuang broke out in a cold sweat. And then they watched as a huge figure went flying backwards and crashed into the rubble with a boom. Zhou Zixuan couldn't stay calm anymore. His spirit fire erupted wildly. He slapped his palms together, and the spirit flames surged violently, turning into a volley of fire arrows shooting at me. I just waved my hand, and a chill swept out. Even Zhou Zixuan's fire arrows were frozen into ice sculptures. Song Jingyan's face changed several times. He suddenly half knelt down, pressed both hands on the ground, and sent a wave of invisible spirit pressure toward me. I stomped my foot on the ground. A mini spirit storm instantly formed and swept outward. All the spirit herbs changed direction and pointed at Song Jingyan. The storm shattered Song Jingyan's attack, and he, still half crouched, was sent flying, coughing up a mouthful of spirit blood in midair that splattered on the ground. Seeing this, Zhou Zixuan no longer dared to hold anything back. Spirit fire surged out from around him, then condensed into a fire as thick as a barrel, roaring straight at me. I opened my mouth and inhaled sharply, and swallowed the ferocious fire dragon whole, then burped contentedly, and let out a wisp of white smoke. Impossible! Zhou Zixuan's face went pale, shaking his head in disbelief. Su Hanshuang and the others stared in shock. I remained expressionless, walked up to Zhou Zixuan, who was closest, and took his storage bag. Heard about the exotic fruit? So what if I have? So what if I don't? I nodded in satisfaction. Good, as long as you know. You have 5 days. Bring me an exotic fruit. That's the price for trying to rob me. Zhou Zixuan sneered. Who the hell do you think you are? No way, I'm giving you the exotic fruit. Kill me if you want. I laughed lightly and shook my head, then tapped Zhou Zixuan's chest gently. Zhou Zixuan gasped with pain. What did you do to me? Why is my talent gone? Bring the exotic fruit, and I'll lift it for you. If you don't mind being an ordinary person, then you don't have to look for me. Lift the seal, damn it! Or when the exam's over, you're dead. Zhou Zixuan shouted furiously. My eyes turned cold. Say that again? Zhou Zixuan froze. It felt like a slimy spirit snake was coiling around his neck, mouth wide open, flicking its tongue, ready to bite down at any moment. Remember, within 5 days. I stood and walked towards Song Jingyan. You heard what I said to Zhou Zixuan. Song Jingyan nodded. He gritted his teeth. A bet is a bet. After roasting one exotic fruit, I'll bring it to your sect. Compared to Zhou Zixuan, Song Jingyan was clearly more sensible. But I sealed his ability for now too. Song Jingyan, bring me the exotic fruit. I'll lift it for you. I also dragged Cao Juniran out of the rubble, sealed his talent as well, and then mentioned the exotic fruit. I nodded with satisfaction again. 3 exotic fruits should be enough for him to reach key refining stage 2.
After all that,
I tossed 2 storage bags to Zhao Zixuan and Su Hanshuang. Zhao Zixuan looked a little confused. Qi Mahan, what do you mean by this? I smiled. Aren't we a team? If you see it, you get a share. Su Hanshuang wanted to say something, but hesitated. Isn't this too valuable? Is it? I thought for a moment. Then give it back. Su Hanshuang immediately hugged the storage bag tightly. I was just being polite. Once you give something away, you can't take it back. I'm a bit speechless. Then I immediately turned and left. Where are you going? Su Hanshuang asked. I'm going to find a place to hide. Wait until 50 biographies are all forgotten. This is what we agreed on. Su Hanshuang shouted. I waved my hand. Don't worry, after everyone leaves. Jinyan, can you really swallow this humiliation? Zhou Zixuan asked viciously. Song Jingyan looked at Zhou Zixuan. I want to ask Shen Linghao and the others for help. Give him a mutated fruit. He'll definitely be willing to help. A cold light flashed in Zhou Zixuan's eyes. Song Jingyan shook his head. Forget it, Qin Mahan did something to our bodies. Until he removes it. I don't want to cause any more trouble. Zhou Zixuan looked at Cao Juniran again. What about you? Said Cao Juniran. I can't beat him. I'm convinced. You're all cowards. Zhou Zixuan cursed. If you won't go, I'll go alone. I can't swallow this. After leaving, I found a relatively intact ruin. Carved a gathering array with spiritual power. Placed the damaged mutated fruit in the array. Wisps of pale spiritual energy began to float out. At the same time, I began refining it with the Samsara technique. First level of key refinement. Now it's mid-stage, switching to the frost technique. Condensing my spiritual sense. Suddenly opened my eyes fiercely. A sharp light shot from my eyes. And then I smiled. From under the diagonal of my shoe, I took out a thumb-sized metal sphere. Squeezed it slightly. Sparks of spiritual light flashed. A spiritual power tracker. Hope you bring more people with you. Don't let me down too much. The more people you bring, the more mutated fruit I can get. I glanced at the spiritual blade stuck in the ground, shook my head slightly. I'm still not used to the spiritual blade. If I can find the right materials, it would be best to forge a spiritual sword. At this moment, Zhou Zixuan was gritting his teeth, leading a young man through the ruins. That man was Shen Linghao. Zhou Zixuan hired him with a mutated fruit to help deal with Qin Mahan. Right here, Zhou Zixuan stopped. He might have found the tracker, just destroyed it. But he definitely doesn't expect us to come. I sat cross-legged in the ruins, gently rubbing the metal sphere between my fingers. This tracker is very well made. There was still a faint trace of spiritual sense on it. Looks like Zhou Zixuan had someone guiding him. But that's fine too. The more of them come, the more bargaining chips I have. I closed my eyes and focused. Continued using the samsara technique. The wind started to pick up outside the ruins. From afar came the roars and vicious collisions of beasts. As noon approached, the center of the secret realm became even more chaotic. Everyone was making their final push, trying to get a few more points in the last half hour. Suddenly, I sensed 3 auras quickly approaching. One of them was Zhou Zixuan. The other 2 were one strong, one weak. The stronger one had a powerful aura, far beyond Zhou Zixuan. At least a 4th-rank heaven-awakened person. I slowly opened my eyes. The corners of my mouth lifted slightly. 3 figures appeared behind the ruins. The leader was tall and lean, with a cold and stern face, wearing a black robe with silver cloud patterns.
He stood with his hands behind his back,
Casting an arrogant gaze down at me, as if looking at an ant who didn't know its own limits. Zhou Zixuan stood at his side, a look of vengeance on his face. This is the arrogant guy right here. Shen Linghao studied me for a while, and frowned slightly. You sure it's him? A guy who hasn't even awakened his bloodline. Beat all 3 of you like that. Zhou Zixuan's face turned red. He gritted his teeth. His techniques are weird. He devoured my flame ability in one go. A trace of interest flashed across Shen Linghao's eyes. That's quite interesting. He stepped forward 2 paces, lightly tapped the spirit blade at his waist with his fingers. I'll give you an opportunity. Lift the restriction off Zhou Zixuan and his friends. Then kneel and admit your mistake. I can let you walk out of this secret realm unharmed. Look up at him. My gaze is calm. You're from Tengshuan sect. Shen Linhao nods proudly. Shen Linhao, core disciple of Tengshuan sect. 4th level awakened of heavenly grade. I assume you've heard my name. I shake my head, never heard it. Shen Linhao's expression stiffens. A cold glint flashes in his eyes. Looks like you refuse a toast. And now you'll have to drink the penalty.
he twists his wrist.
Spiritual blade leaves its sheath. A deep blue aura glimmers on the blade. The air temperature drops sharply. Ice type awakened. I nod slightly. He does belong to the same element as Su Hanshuang. But the intensity of this aura far surpasses Su Hanshuang's. I'll give you one last chance. Shen Linhao holds his spiritual blade horizontally. A thin layer of ice forms on the blade's edge. I slowly rise to my feet, brush the dust off my robe. No need, since you're here. Let's do this by the rules. 1 fruit for 1 restriction. I'll lift the restriction off Zhou Zixuan and his friends for you. Shen Linhao sneers coldly. What makes you qualified to bargain with me? He flicks his wrist. The spiritual blade draws an arc. 3 blades cut through the air, tearing through the air. A sharp laughter echoes. I raise my hand and wave. Spiritual power surges. It turns into an invisible barrier. Ice blades hit it. A crisp sound rings out. They shatter into countless ice shards. Shen Linhao's pupils shrink slightly. There's some skill here. He blurs forward, turns into a fleeting shadow. His spiritual blade, wrapped in chilling cold, thrusts straight at my throat. Extremely fast. Far stronger than Zhou Zixuan and his kind. I dodge sideways. At the same time, flick my finger. A spiritual force hits the blade precisely.
Clang.
The spiritual blade trembles. Shen Linhao's arm tingles slightly. His expression shifts.
He quickly retreats.
Pulls back some distance. What ability is that? He asks, frowning. Cultivation, I reply calmly. Cultivation? Shen Linhao scoffs. A tradition that's long vanished dares show off in front of me. He takes a deep breath, spreads out his arms. The temperature around drops sharply. The ground begins to freeze. A layer of frost forms, icebound for miles. He lets out a low shout. His spiritual blade is thrust into the ground. A surge of chilling cold sweeps toward me like a tide. Wherever it passes, stones and spirit grass are frozen into sculptures. I raise an eyebrow slightly. This move does have some momentum. But that's all. I form hand seals with both hands. Spiritual power surges within me. Golden light blooms from my fingertips. Xuanbing art, break. I shout softly. The golden light clashes with the tide of cold. No violent explosion. No earth-shattering sound. The golden light slices through the cold like a hot knife through butter. Splits the wave of cold in two. Shen Linhao's expression changes dramatically. Impossible! He can't react in time. The golden light is already before him. Boom! He is sent flying.
He smashes through 2 ruined walls before barely stopping.
Zhou Zixuan stands still. His legs are weak. His face pale. His greatest trump card. Couldn't even withstand one move. I walk up to Shen Linhao. He lies among the rubble. Spirit blood oozes from the corner of his mouth. His eyes full of resentment. I look down at him. My tone is flat. One rare fruit delivered to me within 5 days. Otherwise, you'll end up like Zhou Zixuan and his friends. Shen Linhao grits his teeth and tries to get up, but finds his ice element ability completely unusable. What did you do to me? His voice trembles. Just a small spell. I turn and leave. Remember, within 5 days. New is near. A long bell rings above the secret realm. That's the signal for the points registration channel opening. I quicken my pace. Head for the nearest registration point. Along the way, exam candidates try to rob me seeing I'm alone. But after sensing the lingering battle aura on me, they wisely step aside. Points registration is set at the edge of the realm. On a temporary spiritual array platform, several sect elders sit atop the platform. Spirit tokens for points float in front of them. While I wait in line, I overhear candidates discussing. I heard Changshuan sect's Zhou Zixuan had his talent destroyed. Is that true? Who's so bold? Who knows? Anyway, this assessment is quite lively. I remain expressionless, as if their gossip has nothing to do with me. It's my turn. I pour out beast materials from my storage bag. The elder in charge of registration glances at them. Frowns slightly. Alone? I nod. The elder scans the materials. A bit surprised. 1,850 points. Not bad. He gives me another look. Cultivator, I remember you're the one who chose cultivation. I nod. The elder shakes his head, smiles and says nothing more. After registering the points to my identity token,
He waves, indicating I can leave.
walking out of the secret realm. It's sunny. I squint up at the sky. The assessment is over. But the real challenge is only just beginning. Wei family's rare fruit, Grandpa Su Hanshuang's illness, and Zhou Zixuan's promised rare fruit. These are all things I need to handle soon. When I return to the sect, it's already evening. My parents wait at the mountain gate for me. My mother's eyes are a bit red. She comes up and grabs my hand. Glad you're home. Father stands to the side, though silent. The concern in his eyes can't be hidden. I'm warmed inside. In this life, no matter what, I will protect her. Back home, my father prepared a feast of snacks. At the table, he tentatively asks about the exam. Pretty good. 1,850 points. Father's hand shakes, almost dropping his chopsticks. 1,850 points. He looks at me in disbelief. Are you sure? I nod. Father is silent for a moment, then suddenly smiles.
He repeats good twice.
But his eyes are slightly red. Mother wipes her tears beside him. They don't understand bloodline awakening or cultivation pathways. They only know their child didn't let them down. After dinner, I return to my room, sit cross-legged, take out the rare fruit I got from Lady Wei. Though this rare fruit is damaged, it still contains considerable spiritual energy. I place it in the spirit convergence array and begin refining it. Streams of spiritual energy flow into my body. Reincarnation technique. Rapidly activating. Late stage of key refining, peak of first level key refining. When the exotic fruit was completely shriveled up into powder, my cultivation was stabilized at the peak of first level key refining. I'm just a step away from second level key refining. I open my eyes, let out a deep breath. It's not enough, I need more exotic fruits. I take out a messaging talisman. Send a message to Wei Mingyuan. I'll go to the Wei family tomorrow. Moments later, Wei Mingyuan replied, I'll meet you outside the city. The next morning, I changed into a clean robe, told my parents I was going out in the city, then left the sect. The Wei family is in Dayu Manor, Yunzhou, located atop the spiritual vein in the east of the city. When I arrived, Wei Mingyuan was already waiting outside the city. His injury hasn't yet healed. His face was still somewhat pale, but he looked much better than last time. Little brother, this way please. He led me into the city. We walked through several streets and arrived at an impressive residence. 2 stone spirit beast statues stood on either side of the gate. A plaque with Wei residence hung above the doorframe. The calligraphy was forceful, clearly written by a master. Wei Mingyuan led me straight into the residence. All the servants we passed greeted us respectfully. After passing through several courtyards, we came to an elegant side room. The head of the family is inside. Wei Mingyuan pushed open the door. On a wooden bed inside the room lay an elderly man with a haggard face. His breathing was weak, his complexion sallow.
His energy was chaotic.
Clearly suffering from severe internal injuries. I approached to check his pulse and sent spiritual power into his body, carefully sensing. Moments later, I withdrew my hand. How is it? Wei Mingyuan asked anxiously. He can be saved, I nodded. But I'll need some spiritual herbs for assistance. Wei Mingyuan was overjoyed. Whatever you need, just tell me. I made a list of items. After Wei Mingyuan looked at it, he didn't hesitate at all, and immediately ordered his people to get them. In less than an hour, all the herbs were ready. I told everyone to leave, leaving only myself and the elder in the room. After setting up a soundproofing formation, I began to heal. The elder's injuries were much worse internally than they appeared. Many of his meridians were severed. Even his organs were affected. If an ordinary spiritual physician tried to heal him, he'd only live another 3 to 5 months at best. But I'm different. I use spiritual power as a guide, carefully mending his broken meridians inch by inch, then used the frost technique to seal his rampaging blood. The entire process took 3 hours. When I finally withdrew my hand, I let out a long breath. The elder's complexion had returned to a rosy hue, and his breathing was steady. I opened the door and left. Wei Mingyuan came up right away. How is the family head? He's fine now. I wrote another spiritual prescription. He should take it once daily. He should be able to get out of bed in half a month. Wei Mingyuan accepted the prescription. Tears welled up in his eyes with excitement. Little brother, I can't thank you enough. If you ever need help from the Wei family, just say the word. I nodded without any pretense. As for the exotic fruit I need, Wei Mingyuan immediately ordered someone to fetch a delicate wooden box. Inside lay a plump exotic fruit with dense spiritual energy, far superior to the previous one, which was flawed. We found this exotic fruit deep in a secret realm. Wei Mingyuan explained. If you hadn't saved our patriarch, we wouldn't have been able to keep it. I accepted the box and thanked him. Wei Mingyuan added, There's something I should warn you about. The Shan family is also looking for this exotic fruit. If they find out it's in your possession, they won't let it go easily. I gave a slight smile. It's fine. If they come, so be it. Wei Mingyuan hesitated to speak, but in the end only sighed. Just be extra careful. After leaving the Wei residence, I didn't return to my sect. Instead, I went to the city's spirit emporium. I needed a spirit sword. Ordinary spirit swords are of little use to me. I needed a sword that can channel spiritual energy and is sturdy enough. The largest spirit emporium in town is called Jufeng Pavilion. The pavilion is filled with a dazzling array of spiritual items, from the most basic ordinary iron to treasures imbued with spirit power. They have everything. The shopkeeper is a round-faced, middle-aged man. When he saw a customer enter, he put on a friendly smile. What kind of components do you need, sir? I spoke directly. The shopkeeper led me to the component section. Dozens of sword parts were on display here. The quality was varied. I glanced around and shook my head slightly. They're too poor. The shopkeeper was stunned. What quality are you looking for, sir? The best? The shopkeeper pondered for a moment, then brought out a pitch-black spirit sword from the back room. This sword is called Zhuan Yuan, forged with deep-sea cold iron. It can carry spirit power up to tier 4. It's the treasure of my Jufeng pavilion. I took the sword, injected spiritual power into it. The blade trembled slightly and emitted a crisp, clear sword cry. Not bad, but that's all. I shook my head and put the sword down. Do you have anything better? The shopkeeper looked troubled. That's already the best one. I frowned. Deep sea cold iron is good, but its flexibility is lacking. It can't withstand powerful bursts of spiritual energy. What I need is a spirit sword that can grow as my cultivation advances. The shopkeeper thought for a moment. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. Have you ever heard of a living sword? Living sword, I was interested. The shopkeeper lowered his voice. It's said that some swordsmiths have a secret technique. They can seal the spirit of a beast into a sword, giving the sword the ability to grow on its own. Such swords get stronger as their master improves. They can even awaken their own intelligence. I was pleasantly surprised. Where can I find such living swords? The shopkeeper shook his head. That secret technique has long been lost. However, I heard that deep in the wilderness there's an ancient ruin. It may still hold the forging method for living swords. The wilderness, I was thoughtful. That's the dangerous land ruled by beasts, where countless rare treasures are found. If I really find the forging method for living swords, it'll make this trip worthwhile. I thanked the shopkeeper and left Jufeng Pavilion. When I returned to my sect, it was already evening. Su Hanshuang was waiting for me at the sect entrance. When she saw me come back, I walked up to her. Where did you go? I've been looking for you for ages. I raised my eyebrows slightly. Is something wrong? She rolled her eyes. Did you forget what you promised? My grandfather's illness. Oh, right. Tomorrow then. I'm a bit tired today. Su Hanshuang stared at me for a moment. Your complexion really isn't great. Then tomorrow at noon, I'll come find you. She finished and turned to leave. After a few steps, she looked back. Don't forget. I waved my hand. Got it. Back in my room, I took out the strange fruit and began refining it. The fruit from the Wei family was excellent. The spiritual energy it contained was far superior to the previous one. I placed it in the spirit gathering formation and operated at full strength. Recited the cycle of reincarnation technique. Spiritual energy surged into my body like a tide. The bottleneck at the peak of key refining stage 1 started to loosen. I gritted my teeth and kept breaking through. Time ticked by, not sure how long passed. A clear crack echoed inside me. The bottleneck shattered. Key refining stage 2. I opened my eyes. Golden light flashed in them. My spirit energy was several times stronger than before. I finally took this step. I clenched my fist, feeling the power surging inside. Still not enough. Far from enough. Less than 3 years remain until the heavenly demon descends. I must improve my cultivation as much as possible during this time. At the very least, I need to reach Ness and Soul. And all of this requires a lot of spiritual medicine and opportunities. The wilderness. I murmured. Maybe it's time to make a trip there. At noon the next day, Su Hanshuang appeared at my door right on time. Today she wore a pale blue dress. Her hair flowed over her shoulders. She looked a little less heroic than usual, and a bit more gentle. I glanced at her. Let's go. Her grandfather lives in a peaceful courtyard in the city. The yard is full of spirit bamboo. A gentle breeze passed by. The bamboo leaves rustled. Su Hanshuang's grandfather is a slim old man. He has a kindly face, but his complexion is pale. His breath seemed weak. He sat on a wicker chair in the courtyard. When we entered, he waved to us with a smile. Hanshuang, you're here. Su Hanshuang hurried forward and took the old man's hand. Grandpa, this is Chin Muchen, my fellow disciple. He said he can cure your illness. The old man sized me up. Surprise flashed in his eyes. So young and you can heal diseases? I came closer and felt his pulse with spirit energy, probing inside his body, carefully sensing. After a moment, I frowned slightly. His problems are even more complex than the Wei family's patriarch. Not only were his meridians damaged, but a chill lingered deep in his danshan. If not cleared soon, he likely won't live another 3 years. How is it? Su Hanshuang looked at me nervously. It can be treated. I nodded, but it will take some time. Su Hanshuang let out a sigh of relief. Her eyes reddened a bit. That's great. The old man was also overjoyed. Young friend, if you really cure these old bones, I will definitely thank you generously. I waved my hand. No need to say more. Then I asked Su Hanshuang to prepare spiritual medicine and began treating the old man. Clearing the chill in his danshan is even harder than repairing meridians. It requires spiritual power to strip away the chill bit by bit, then refine it with the profound ice technique. The whole process lasted an entire day. When the last bit of chill was cleared, the old man let out a long breath. His face returned to a healthy color. Such talent! The old man sincerely praised me. I nodded and got up. With a few more doses of spiritual medicine, he'll be fully recovered in half a month. Su Hanshuang walked me to the courtyard gate. She stood under the moonlight, gratitude in her eyes. Chin, thank you. I smiled. No need to thank me. You asked for my help. I helped you. It's fair exchange. Su Hanshuang bit her lip. Then I owe you a favor. If you need anything, just ask in the future. I nodded and turned to leave. After a few steps, she suddenly called out to me. Chin and I turned back. She stood under the moonlight, seemed about to say something but stopped. Ended up just saying, take care on the road. She waved and disappeared into the night. In the days that followed, I started preparing for my journey to the wilderness. I researched a ton of books about the wilderness. I asked around about the grandparents of the Wei family and Su Hanshuang, gathered a lot of information. The wildlands are located north of Yunzhou. It's a vast stretch of primordial mountains. Ferocious beasts roam everywhere. Countless rare treasures of heaven and earth abound. But dangers lurk everywhere. Even a fifth rank awakened could risk their life venturing deep inside. There's a chance of perishing, but I am not afraid. In my past life, I survived even more perilous places, let alone a mere wildlands. 5 days later, Zhou Zixuan and Song Jingyan delivered the exotic fruits as promised. Zhou Zixuan looked grim. He tossed me the spirit box to unlock the seal. I took the spirit box. After opening it and confirming everything was correct, I raised my hand and lifted the seals from their bodies. Zhou Zixuan moved his body a bit, feeling his powers returning. A glint of murderous intent flashed in his eyes. But in the end, he held it back. He turned and left. Before leaving, Song Jingyan glanced at Michin Mahen. You're strong, but I advise you not to show off too much. Tangshuan sect isn't someone you want to mess with. I gave a calm smile. Thanks for the warning. After they left, I took out the 3 exotic fruits, adding the one I previously got from the Wei family. Now I had 4 exotic fruits in total. That night I began refining them. 1, 2, then 3. When the 4th exotic fruit turned to powder, my cultivation reached the 2nd stage of key refinement. Late stage, just a step away from the 3rd stage of key refinement. I needed more exotic fruits, and the wildlands was the best place to find them. The next morning, I packed my things, left a letter for my parents, told them I was going to train in the city for a while, so they wouldn't worry. Then, I set out for the wildlands alone. After leaving the city, I took out a flying artifact and infused it with spiritual energy. Riding it, I soared through the sky. Yunzhou City grew smaller and smaller behind me, eventually turning into a black dot, then vanished into the horizon. Ahead lay boundless wilderness and endless mountain ranges. Everything I wanted was there, as well as countless dangers that I would have to face. But I have no fear, because I know, only by getting stronger and stronger can I protect those I want to protect. Only by reaching the top can I change the destiny that was supposed to be. Wildlands, here I come. After flying for a whole day, I finally reached the outskirts of the wildlands. There were barely any signs of people here. The air was filled with the scents of spiritual herbs and beasts. I leaped down from my artifact, landing atop a hill, looking out across the landscape. Endless, untouched mountain ranges stretched before me. Ancient trees towered skyward, vines tangled and lush. Occasionally, giant beasts darted through the forest, stirring up gusts of wind. I took a deep breath. The rich spiritual energy in the air instantly refreshed me. The wildlands truly lives up to its reputation. Even at the outskirts, the concentration of spiritual energy far surpasses that of Yunzhou City. If I can go deeper inside and find a spot where spiritual veins converge, my cultivation speed will skyrocket. I took out the map to get my bearings. According to the intel provided by Wei Mingyuan, there is an ancient ruin deep within the wilderness. It is said to be the remains of an immortal cultivation sect from 10,000 years ago. There might still be methods for forging living swords preserved there. There could even be more precious things there. I put away the map, unleashed my movement technique, headed deeper into the wilderness. Although being at the second level of key refining wasn't high, with the help of the one thought reincarnation technique and the mystical ice technique, ordinary tier 3 demon beasts were no longer my match. After going 10 li deeper into the wilderness, the number of demon beasts increased noticeably. I killed a few tier 1 and 2 demon beasts that didn't know any better, took their demon cores, and continued forward. When night fell, I found a cave, set up a spirit formation and sat cross-legged to rest. Throughout the night, the roars of demon beasts echoed across the wilderness. Even a thunderous roar came from afar. That was at least the aura of a tier 5 demon beast. I closed my eyes and focused, and remained unmoved. My experience from my previous life taught me, in the wilderness, too much curiosity can bring disaster. At dawn the next morning, I continued deeper. Around noon, I rested by a stream, suddenly sensed the sounds of combat ahead. I concealed my presence and approached quietly. I saw that in an open area downstream, 5 people were fiercely battling a tier 4 demon beast. That demon beast was a blast armor dragon lizard covered in scales. Its body was enormous, and its strength was terrifying. The 5 awakened worked together seamlessly, but were obviously at a disadvantage. One of them had already been wounded. Blood had stained his robe red. I had planned to leave by another route, but my gaze was suddenly drawn to a spirit core hanging from one man's waist. The aura from that spirit core was identical to the exotic fruits. And there was more than one. I stopped in my tracks and watched from the shadows. It was clear the 5 couldn't last much longer. The blast armor dragon lizard swatted one person aside and swept another into the stream with its tail. The remaining 3 turned pale and fled immediately. The blast armor dragon lizard roared and chased after them. I took this chance and darted over to the wounded man lying on the ground. He looked at me in terror. "Who are you?" I didn't answer, just took the spirit box from his belt, opened it to find 3 exotic fruits lying inside, overflowing with spiritual energy. Their quality was excellent. "Are these yours?" The man nodded, then shook his head. "We found them in the ruins, you." Before he could finish, he passed out. I put the spirit box away and searched his storage pouch. Inside were several more demon cores and some spirit herbs. A nice haul. I got up and was about to leave, when an angry roar suddenly sounded behind me. The blast armor dragon lizard was back. It saw the spirit box in my hand. Its eyes turned blood red. Tier 4 demon beasts already possess a certain level of intelligence. It clearly knew what was in the box. I sighed. I hadn't wanted to fight, but the blast armor dragon lizard opened its huge bloody mouth and lunged at me. I shifted in a blur. As it pounced, my spirit blade was unsheathed. I channeled spiritual power into the blade, sending out a blade beam 3 feet long. I executed 7 star steps and instantly appeared at the lizard's side, slashed at the gap in the scales on its neck. Spirit blood gushed out. The blast armor dragon lizard roared in pain and swept with its tail. I leapt to dodge, spun in midair, and slashed at its head again. The 2 strikes left the blast armor dragon lizard dizzy. It turned to run, but I couldn't let it escape. I activated my spiritual power and unleashed the illusory spirit blade technique, slashing out dozens of blade beams in an instant, enveloping it like a rainstorm. It struggled for a moment, then finally crashed to the ground. I took the demon core and left quickly, found a concealed cave, set up a spirit formation and took out the 3 exotic fruits. Began refining them, 1, 2, 3. When the last bit of spiritual energy from the 3rd exotic fruit was absorbed, my cultivation finally broke through to key refining stage 3. The spiritual power in my body was several times stronger than before, though the 3rd level of key refining was still not considered high. It was enough to protect myself on the outskirts of the wilderness. I opened my eyes and let out a long breath. Next, I should go look for that ancient ruin. According to the map in the storage pouch of the unconscious man, The ruins are deep within the wilderness. About 2 days from here. After a brief rest, I set out again. 2 days later, I finally reached the location marked on the map. Before me lay ruins covered in vines and spirit grass. Among the broken walls, the scale of the sect from long ago could still be glimpsed. This place was once the mountain gate of an immortal cultivation sect 10,000 years ago. I wandered among the ruins, sensing faint traces of spiritual energy in the air. Though 10,000 years have passed, there were still lingering spirit veins here. It was evident how profound the sect's foundation was back then. I delved deeper and found a few skeletons along the way. Judging by the clothes, they appeared to be awakened explorers. There were still storage pouches and spiritual power on them. I took them as I went. Inside a collapsed hole, I finally found my target for this trip. A spirit sword stabbed into a stone pedestal. The blade was completely silver white, and the hilt was inlaid with a spirit pearl the size of a pigeon egg. Within the spirit pearl, a spiritual soul could vaguely be seen swimming. A living sword, my eyes lit up. I stepped closer to examine it carefully. The body of the sword was intact. The spirit soul within the pearl was asleep, but still full of vitality. If I could awaken that spirit soul, the sword could grow together with me. I reached for the hilt, about to draw the sword, when suddenly, a surge of spiritual energy erupted from underground. My expression changed, and I dodged back. The stone platform exploded. A massive figure burst out from below. It was a giant python at least 30 feet long, its body covered in jet black scales, and a single horn atop its head. A tier 5 demon beast. A horned spirit python. My heart sank. I didn't expect such a monster to be hiding in the ruins. The horned spirit python. Its cold eyes fixed on me, hissing as it flicked its tongue. It coiled around the spirit sword, clearly guarding it. I took a deep breath. A tier 5 demon beast, comparable to a human at the peak of foundation establishment. With my ki refining, 3rd level cultivation, I stood no chance head to head. But giving up this living sword is impossible. I looked at the spirit sword and suddenly had an idea. I shifted in a blur and darted to the left. The horned spirit python immediately gave chase, its huge body crushing the ruins in its path. I turned and ran in another direction. The horned spirit python chased me relentlessly. As I ran, setting up spirit arrays along the way, when the one horned spirit python charged into the final array, I suddenly turned around, formed a hand seal with both hands and detonated. All 5 arrays exploded at once. The violent spiritual explosion sent the one-horned spirit python rolling. But its scales were tough. This strike only gave it some superficial wounds. The real show was yet to come. I flashed back onto the stone platform, drew my spirit sword. The sword trembled, letting out a clear, crisp sword cry. The spirit within the spirit pearl awakened. A surge of powerful spirit energy flowed into me. Ki condensation level 3. Peak of ki condensation level 4. Ki condensation level 5. My cultivation skyrocketed, finally stopping at the peak of ki condensation level 5. The one-horned spirit python roared and charged back. I gripped the spirit sword tightly. Spiritual energy surged within me. Unleashed the frost sword technique. Icy sword energy swept out. The one-horned spirit python was frozen into an ice sculpture. I leapt into the air. Another slash. The ice sculpture shattered. The one-horned spirit python crashed to the ground. I landed, gasping for breath. Most of my spiritual energy was spent, but I felt an incredible sense of exhilaration, gazing at the spirit sword shimmering in my hand. I smiled slightly. From this day forward, you'll follow me to conquer the world. I'll call you Shuangbai. After a short rest, I took the demon core and scales from the one-horned spirit python, searched the ruins again, found a few rare fruits and several tattered ancient books. It was a fruitful harvest. By the time I left the ruins, it was already evening. I found a cave to rest, sat cross-legged, refining the rare fruits I had gained. When the last fruit turned to powder, my cultivation stabilized at ki condensation level 6. One step closer to foundation establishment. I opened my eyes, looked at the Shuangbai sword in my hand. A hint of a smile appeared on my lips. The journey in the wasteland far exceeded expectations. Now it's time to go back. There's still a score to settle with those from Tangshuan's sect. The rare fruits they promised me, I still haven't given them. I stood up and walked out of the cave. Under the night sky, the desolate wind carried the scent of spirit grass to my face. Distant mountains loomed under the moonlight. This land, full of opportunity and danger. I'll return again, but now it's time to head back. I activated my movement technique, leapt towards the direction of Yunzhou City. The wasteland faded into the distance behind me, swallowed by the night. But I knew this was just the beginning. Before the demon's descent, I still have a long way to go, and this road is destined to be anything but smooth.